This episode of the Beauty Industry podcast was brought to you by Salon Pay, the hottest growing trend in the hair and beauty industry. Hello and welcome to the Beauty Industry podcast, your online support community for the professional beauty industry. I am your host, founding director of Beauty Industry, Tamara Shaw. Here we are closing the competitive gap and speaking your language. This is a platform created and dedicated to the professional beauty industry, valuing community over competition. We serve to help connect you with inspiration from industry experts, expand your knowledge through educational pieces, and bring you the latest in product and technology innovation. This is Beauty Industry. Today's guest is Kristy Mckenzie, founder of Secret Salon Society and Salon Pay, two businesses which I am sure you've already heard of prior to this conversation. Kristy and I met virtually earlier this year when she ran the live and online training initiative where 100 educators and business coaches jumped online and ran Facebook live sessions to a paying audience over 100 incredible hours. It was then that I truly understood the powerhouse that Kristy is, in that she is a 6 times business owner, one of which includes the incredible business Salon Pay, which you're going to hear loads about today, and she's also the proud mother of 2 twin girls, Poppy and Alice. The conversation today travels through what it looks like to be a leader in the service industry, of course the metrics around Salon Pay and how you can increase cash flow and client loyalty in treatment packages and also memberships, a conversation which I know you are going to adore. Here's Kristy and I for Beauty Industry. Kristy Mckenzie, welcome to the Beauty Industry podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Tamara.
Thank you so much for spending time out of your busy Monday morning and coming on and having a chat to us. Well, the first question we ask in our conversation is finding out where and when our guests entered into the hair and beauty industry. And I'd love to ask that of you.
Yeah, sure. So look, for me, it was probably fairly standard, and my background is hairdressing. And it was working for the local salon on Saturdays, shampooing hair and rinsing perms. And this is going to be really gross for all you guys, but straining wax out of
yes,
straining the hair out of wax. It was disgusting, but that was my very first job, within the industry, I should say, at about the age of 16. So we're talking 1996, so 23 going on 24 years ago. Makes me feel very old. But yeah, that was my first introduction, and I really loved the clients, getting to know the regulars, and knowing that I was being helpful was really, really great. So that was my very first job. And then from there, started my apprenticeship after I'd finished Year 12 in 1999, at the start of 99. And interestingly, that salon was called Short and Curly Hair Design, which I was a very, naive 19-year-old. Yeah. And I had no idea why people thought that was a funny name. I'm like, I don't understand why people think that's amusing, but anyway. My sheltered upbringing.
Well, it's so funny to me what people name their space, and all of the different languages that it can be in, which has different meanings. And there's a lot of hiddenness behind the name sometimes, isn't there?
Yes, no, it is. It's funny.
And so where did your career go from washing and blow drying to where you are now?
Yeah, so I was lucky enough in the salon, Short and Curly Hair Design, that one of the senior stylists, she was in charge of all the training, had just come back from London. She'd been over working in Vidal Sassoon for a couple of years. And so I think I just lucked out with that salon, because it was kind of a nana area, but she was really, really skilled in her cutting. So my career definitely was more focused on cutting rather than colouring. And it's funny because I watch all the beautiful colour work now, and I honestly would not you would not want to see me try to colour someone's hair now. That was never my passion, but cutting was always my thing. So very lucky to have just had that, I guess, introduction to the industry of a really high quality training and standard with Vidal Sassoon. And I went from there. I was managing some salons. One was out in Ashburton, and had a really great experience out there. But I guess it was an hour's drive from my home, and there was nothing really happening in my hometown. I wanted to set up my own salon. I was a little bit nervous setting up in my hometown because I really do like to keep work separate from my personal life. But, jumped in and set up my salon, and it just boomed from the word go, which was really exciting. Had the salon for 8 years, pretty much to the day, and then sold, and now I am where I am.
Yeah. Amazing. It speaks volumes that you had a space for that long. I mean, we know the turnover of this industry and the hair industry as well is quite short-lived. So for 8 years, obviously says something about your work ethic and who you are as a leader as well.
Look, I feel really lucky that I had a great team as well. It was funny because there wasn't a lot out in the area when I opened. There's heaps of beautiful salons out there now, but at the time there wasn't really a lot. So I think I attracted some people that were kind of like-minded. They really wanted to work locally but couldn't find the right space. I had a great manager. She just sort of walked in. I think I was still painting, and the next thing I knew, there was a resume under my door, and it was a really it was printed on different paper. It was a really quirky cover letter about, quite cheeky, and definitely showed her personality. And she was working for a really well-known salon in at South Yarra and travelling and just miserable with the travel mainly. So she started with me. She was with me the whole time. And, as I was selling, she was off having a baby. So really didn't kind of miss out on, I guess, I didn't leave her there with the new owners or anything like that, all those fears you have. But no, it was really good. I had a great team. We had lots of fun. Obviously all the stresses as well, which I found, like everybody, challenging, mainly managing staff. I was kind of the nice boss, and, had babies, had my twins 3 years in. So 2011 had the girls. So, quite distracted and off the floor, but just very blessed that I had a great manager and a great team. So that was good. That was good.
Amazing. Yeah. And I'm wondering then if you can explore for me, because in our industry, a lot of the time, therapists and hairdressers are, qualified in their trade, but then they do go, like you, into owning a space or managing a space. How did you become a leader in that transition? Did you do anything, or do you find that you're naturally born that way?
I feel like it's funny when I think back on my life and moments where I've I guess become a leader. I think it goes back to primary school years. It's really interesting having kids now and talking to talking to them about your life and things that happen, and then explaining things and then going, I think that really did actually change me. So when I was in grade 5, I repeated grade 5. I was quite young. I started school when I was 4, and I'm a May baby, late May baby, so quite young. Nowadays, you can't start that young. But I was a follower. I was a sheep. I was a bit naughty and mature. I didn't have the maturity there, I guess. So I repeated grade 5, and I distinctively remember feeling more like a leader than ever before at that new school in, repeating that year. I felt like I was one of the older kids. Yeah. I made great friends, and that was a big change for me. So really good decision that my parents made, which is, I can imagine I would not have been easy to deal with when they were discussing with me repeating. But that would have been definitely a highlight. And I think just throughout the years, I think I'm more driven by what it is that I am trying to achieve and what I want. And then I just find people to, I guess, delegate the roles to. So I don't look at it so much as being a leader. I look at it as, this is where I want to get to, and to get there, I need X, Y, and Z done. And I delegate this, that, and whatever out. And if they're not doing the job properly, or if it's not working, then, you know, you have the tough conversation and you find someone else to do it. I don't know, that's kind of my process of thinking. I never really sit down and think about being a leader, but over the most recent years, I definitely put more thought into it. But when I was in my salon to start with, to be honest, I didn't want any staff. I just wanted to be by myself, which I think lots of people start their salons feeling like that. They just kind of want to do their own thing and be away from everyone else. And I know, especially with beauty, it's, you know, you're in that space often by yourself. So, you know, it makes sense, I guess, to crave that alone time. But when you're a hairdresser, it's a more social, chatty, you know, louder environment.
It is, yeah.
So, you know, I just had enough of that drama and the gossiping and all that. I just wanted to be by myself. But again, like, really lucky to have found a great team that just sort of blossomed with me. So that was the leadership journey. Yeah, it's always evolving. You're always learning and growing in that area. It's I didn't do any courses. It was just naturally something that you just learn the hard way with a lot of things. But it kind of came naturally, I guess. But yeah,
because I'm having that conversation with a lot of business owners who are, you know, trying to train up a manager to either be the manager that they've never had before, or almost step into the business owner's shoes while they step away. And it's a funny question that I get asked a lot. You know, can you train somebody to be a leader and have those qualities, or is it inherently ingrained within you? And I was, interesting to hear your answer there.
I definitely don't think that everybody can be a manager, and I definitely don't think everyone can be a leader. And it's funny because I had this conversation with my husband just this morning, literally. And he is not a manager. Like, he isn't a manager type or a leader. When I say he's not a leader, that sounds really horrible, but because he is definitely in his, you know, in the household and whatever. But he, you know, he's not, like, some people just want to get up and go to work, and that is totally fine. I don't believe that everyone can be trained to be a manager. I just think that inherently you either are born with those qualities of wanting to lead and be, you know, part of that team where you're in charge. And for some people that makes them cringe. So be really fussy. My advice with that is always to be really, really fussy, and often, you know, you can give someone a go, but I don't know, when faced with tough challenges, I'm not sure. Like, to be honest, I wouldn't be a manager. I would suck at being a manager. I would definitely, because I know in times of conflict, I freeze up. So we've all had those moments where we've had a customer in the salon who is being difficult. It's like the world tries to get me to stop talking. My throat seizes up. I literally cannot talk. So I would be terrible. And, you know, I employ managers now because I'm not a great manager. I might be good at having the vision and leading the company, but I'm not good at that level, managing the staff, and being at that level is not my skill set.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And so in September of 2015, Secret Salon Society becomes a brand.
Yes.
What was your why in creating that platform, and how did you go about doing that?
Oh, look, it all was the membership. So I guess I was running membership program in my salon at that time, and I launched Secret Salon Society to help other salon owners do the same thing. The Facebook group was I guess in the beginning, a way to get to know the industry and a way for the industry to get to know me. Facebook groups were quite new back then. There wasn't a lot happening in the space. So I do feel very lucky that I started that at that time, because there's, a lot more competition, as you would know now. I mean, you just be part of everything, don't you? But there's, it's more common now, I guess, to have a Facebook group. But back then there wasn't a lot happening. So it was just like literally a way for me to get to know the industry and the industry to get to know me, and for me to throw my ideas out there and see the response and what would happen. And the whole point was my membership system that I was running. I wasn't expecting the group to become what it was. I wasn't expecting my events to do what they have done for the people that attend them. That's all kind of a lovely surprise along the way. And it's interesting because I studied event management for one semester.
Did you?
Oh, look, it was one semester. And I'm not, I'm a classic hairdresser, not great with sitting down and doing schoolwork. So I studied that back then, and I at the time, that's what I wanted to do. I thought, so it's interesting that you keep going back. Yeah, you just kind of keep finding your way back to your little passions. But that's how Secret Salon Society came to be, and that was the reasons why. Now it's different. Now it's all just online education and fun and support, and we had the awards, and just a whole heap of things happening, which was good fun. And the memberships are now run under Salon Pay. So
Amazing. And I want to ask you, I mean, as I know quite well, trying to create something in the industry that has typically been one way, and I speak for the beauty industry, has been quite gossipy, has been quite negative, and has a real stigma of, I don't want to connect with anybody else because they're going to A, steal my clients, or B, steal my staff. And it's very difficult to enter into something and create something that is going to change people's mindset. Did you find it quite a task? Or I guess back then there was really nothing like it, and so it did just go from 0 to 100 overnight? What was your process?
Yeah, well, I guess what I was trying to sell at the end of the day were the memberships, which do actually tick the boxes of protecting your clientele against leaving staff, protecting your brand, against other, if your clients are contracted to coming into your salon, they're not going to go to your competitor. So that was what I was selling at the time. So I feel like that conversation opened up. And I guess for me, the two biggest things I always think about whenever I'm doing anything is trust and credibility. So, by sharing what I was doing and being open and generous with my knowledge, developed that trust within the community. And then, once people started coming on board with the memberships and started having success with it, and then they would share, then I guess it developed that credibility. But with I've always just found, and again, I don't know how this has happened, but I've always found the Secret Salon Society group, much the same as your group, to just be a lovely, positive area. I just, the second that anything becomes bitchy or nasty, I just remove it. I just delete it. And look, if it's a repeat offender, usually they actually let themselves out.
Yes.
Because they'll get grumpy that you've deleted their post or you've turned off commenting or something. But, but I will allow healthy debate, because I do feel, that is, that you can learn something from that too. But I mean, with the stealing of the staff, or I don't believe that I'm not going to say it doesn't happen, but I don't know. I just feel like if someone's going to go, they're going to go.
Yeah.
It's
absolutely.
like, and your job. So one thing we teach our salons, at our events is to really get comfortable with the fact that your staff are not going to be with you forever. Like, everyone is going to leave. Nobody stays with the same employer forever. So your job is to give them the best experience that they can, so they stay with you maximum amount of years. But you want them to leave and have so much knowledge and, respect for you and your brand, that all they're going to do is talk highly of you out there, because then that will then come back to serve you, as they're meeting people, or, different people within the industry. And, I just think that no one's forever. Nobody stays forever. So I, you know, it's called headhunting, I guess, in other industries. We have a real problem with it in our industry, but, you know, yes, you're allowed to have the feelings, but I think you need to just move on.
Yeah, absolutely.
As hard as it
and
is,
I guess,
you know.
yeah, and looking internally, you know, so I had a conversation with a business owner the other day, and she said, Tamara, one of my team members wants to leave, and she said it was a really nasty way in how it all went down, that somebody actually came in and had a treatment and left an envelope on the treatment bed for the therapist to see, and the therapist opened it up, and it was a letter of offer for employment. And she said, I was so upset and And I said, well, what have you done for that therapist to grow? Have there been any personal development sessions or any professional development? Has she gone to training? Have you done KPIs? And she said, oh, not really. I just thought that she was happy here. You know, and I guess sometimes it's not always the fault. Sometimes that is not quite a nice way to go about getting staff, but to having a look and reflecting on how we're treating the team, and are we constantly trying to grow them as a person and also professionally, so that they do enjoy staying in the business and they can actually grow within our team.
And nothing should ever be a surprise if you're doing, you know, weekly one-on-ones with your team, and just a simple, you know, how's everything been last week? You know, is there anything I can help you with this week? This was really great. This was not so great. This was the feedback we had, blah, blah, blah. Like if you're doing that every single week, just a 10-minute catch up with every single staff member every single week, then nothing is a surprise when someone wants to leave, because you'll know, like you will know there will have been, you know, if you're even if you're just doing one, like a monthly catch up, it's not enough. Too much can happen in a month. It has to be weekly. And it's, you know, then if they do get a letter of offer, that can be brought up at that. And how do you feel about that? Are you happy here? You know, then it opens up another conversation. You know, people, the main reason why staff leave usually is ambiguity. So it's usually they're unsure of their expectations. So they're unsure if they're hitting their expectations. They're unsure if they're valued, you know, and if there's any ambiguity, and we've got a few banned words in the office and that we teach salon owners as well, and some of them are, you know, could, should, would is banned. You know, you never say to a staff member, oh, we could do that. You either are or you're not. You never say to a staff member, yeah, maybe we should. It's like you either are or you're not. So we say those words because we don't want to be feeling like we're dominating a conversation, but it creates they're just simple, you know, they're just a few words that can create that ambiguity, and it's just, if you want your staff to stay, you need to have those really clearly defined expectations and catch-ups, and you know, then they will have job satisfaction. When you know you're doing a good job because you know what the goalposts are, then you're satisfied in your job. And it's kind of a trendy millennial thing at the moment not to have any expectations, and everyone just kind of cruises in and does what I don't think it works. I don't think it works at all. And yeah, you have to have those really clearly outlined expectations. So like a good lesson for her, because, you know, if this staff member has left or does leave, then you know, what can she learn from that moving forward? It's, you know, maybe next time, you know, be a bit more onto it, I guess, with your staff, and be a bit more proactive around, you know, you don't want to be making anyone happy. Like, that's not your job to make someone happy, but you just check in with them, because they'll only leave if they're uncertain.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to come back to the membership packages that you were talking about before, because when I was speaking to a few people before you and I knew each other, I was like, what does Kristy do? And the first word was always memberships. So I want to touch base on how you introduced it into your space, and now what you're doing with Salon Pay to introduce it into other people's spaces.
Sure. So memberships, when I ran them in my salon, I looked at the three packages works really well to start with, because if you have too many packages and too much choice, the default is usually no. It's like when you have in the 90s when you'd go to the video shop, you go to Blockbuster and you can't find anything to watch. It's because there's too much on choice. Whereas if you go to the milk bar and there's that little stand there of, some DVDs, you'll always find something.
Yes.
So less is more. So, I introduced it into my salon with the, most popular services, and then a package that I really, I guess, wanted clients to aspire to. And it just took off. It was something that the clients loved. It was really good for my cash flow. It was really great to increase the value of my business. And I do see some membership programs that are floating around that are, similar. But for me, it's really important to get the legal right, because there's no point in having all these amazing members signed up if you can't transfer the rights to a new owner. Because, again, like staff, nothing is forever. You're not going to have your salon forever. That is a fact. Nobody goes to the grave with a salon. It's very rare that you'll have them passed down through generations. At some point, it'll be either one or two things. You're going to sell or you're going to shut shop up. That's how it works. So, having the memberships structured properly so they're making you money, and having them legally, correct so that you can transfer them to a new owner was really important to me, because I knew I wanted to sell. But, memberships are, you look at most of the, I guess, gyms and, other industries where you have things on subscription. It just makes things easier. I don't know about you with your, we have everything on direct debit at home, electricity, gas, like everything's on direct debit.
Everything.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And it just happens. In saying that, with beauty, there is a massive market. And if you can take one thing away from this conversation, it is to look at what the multi-level marketing companies are doing and do that in your salon. Because honestly, people don't have time and people don't have money. That's like the two things that people want more of in life. The money, if you can put someone on direct debit, you are alleviating that cash flow issue for them. And if you can give them an auto ship on their 2 or 3 most basic products, and if you can, have that popped in the mail for them every couple of months, or whatever that looks like for you and your salon and your products, you are going to be keeping up with the big boys. These, multi-level marketing companies are billion-dollar companies for a reason, and it's because they enjoy the way that they do business. Obviously, we don't like the spammy, salesy stuff that goes along with it, but it's easy. I don't know about you, but I've got a few things that just come in the mail. I'm like, awesome. My, this has arrived, or my doTERRA, or whatever. Like it's make that whatever you want it to. But auto shipping on products in the beauty industry is something that just doesn't happen. And checking in with your clients, because a big thing that people will say to me in the beauty industry is that, well, I need to see their skin and I need to consult to make sure they're getting the right thing. So check in with your clients then. I've been to lots of different beauty salons. I have had lots of different facial treatments over the years. I've probably used one of my faves at the moment is O Cosmetics, which I kind of keep coming back to over the years. And I'm pretty much using 1 or 2 different moisturizers, for example. And I pretty much use the same cleanser. People are creatures of habit and will do what you lead them to do.
Absolutely.
But no one ever checks up on me. I don't get a call after 2 months saying, Kristy, you must be getting low on your moisturiser. What happens is I run out usually on a Saturday afternoon, and then I have to wait till Tuesday.
Yes.
So I use my eye cream all over my face or something absolutely horrendous. Or worse still, I dig out like a body lotion and stick that on my face for a few days. Seriously, it's always a Saturday afternoon that I will run out. And if I had a call that week before, I would go, you know what, I am getting low. Yes, I would like one. Please, yep, here's my card. Or even better still, with Salon Pay, they've got all that information, and then they can either pop it in the mail or I can swing past and pick it up. I think that it's a massive missed area, is that aftercare. And it's one thing to get sent an email or get sent a text or have a call straight after your facial, but at that 2-month mark, you should be checking in with your clients and offering to ship them products.
Yes.
That's just my opinion. I don't know if I think I've gone off track.
No, I love it. I love it. I mean, the kind of packages thing, your A, B, C, your low tier, mid tier, high tier, that even just in its own basic entirety is not being done well in the industry. And that's something that I talk a lot to business owners about. Or I say, okay, so you do packages. They say yes. I look at the menu. I'm like, where are they? Oh, they're just in the computer. Okay, so is every staff having a conversation with every client about the packages? No. Okay, so but no one knows about the packages, right? And they go, yes. pull up a report and show me how many packages you sold this month. Maybe 2, and that was the off chance. So packages for me, it's like something I can't talk enough about.
Yeah.
But with the likes of Salon Pay, and this is what I talk about all the time to the team, if you can say to a client, this is $999, but with 4 payments or 5 payments, whatever it is, broken up into X amount of weeks, it's this per week.
Yep.
Don't go out for dinner on Thursday night with your girlfriend and have that big espresso martini, and you're going to be able to get your skincare and your package for that same price.
Yeah.
And the front of clients, they're like, done. As if I'm not going to direct debit that. How easy is that? After the break, Kristy and I take a look at the types of packages, memberships, and payments that can help your business grow and increase loyalty with your clients. But first, a word from our sponsor, which is, of course, the beautiful business of Salon Pay. Salon Pay is a clever cloud-based self-service payment portal to help your business set up and run memberships, an online product shop, securely take booking fees, process Visa and MasterCard payments, and pamper now, pay later with Afterpay. Created by a salon owner, for salon owners, no locking contract and ongoing support always. They're PCI compliant, the highest payment security accreditation, and the team at Kristy and Salon Pay are so kindly giving our community a free 30-day trial just by simply quoting Beauté Industry. Visit salonpay.com for more information. Pay today or Salon Pay. Thank you so much to Salon Pay for making this episode of the Beauté Industry podcast possible. And now, back to Kristy.
I think as well with packages is, it's funny because the winner of our Best Beauty Therapist Award, one of the nominees, or people that nominated her, the comment that she wrote was that, Irini explains things in a way that I can understand. I will admit, I don't have a beauty background, and I have a little bit of an understanding of the different sorts of treatments, but I probably am more of a client in terms of understanding at your level, which is basically that of a dermatologist, how things work. And sometimes when I see packages out there, it's like LED and this and that and blah, 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 all the things in it. But what does that actually do for my skin? Put it in a language that I'm going to understand as a client, because I'm not going to understand what microdermabrasion is, but I'll understand what that does for my skin, and how that's going to make me feel. So if it's like this time of the year, I imagine that we'd be gearing up for, getting rid of still all that winter congestion, gearing up for a summer. I know you guys are up in Queensland and you've all got that beautiful humidity. We don't get that down here in Melbourne. So, it's different. You're going to have different things that you're trying to achieve for somebody. I talk about that more rather than the actual things you're doing, and paint the picture. So all I really want to know and care about is that I'm for 90 minutes going to get to relax. I'm going to have someone completely spoil me from head to toe. And then I'm going to walk out on cloud 9. That's all I really care about.
Yes.
Put that into a package and describe that to me and tell me how much it's going to cost me every week or as a package. And then if I'm lucky, I can have that every quarter and go on a membership,
Yeah, it's like it just reminded me of, I don't know if you've seen this, but there's a florist did a really great marketing campaign a couple of years ago, and they had three different bunches of flowers, a small, a medium, and a large. And the first one said, "I'm in trouble." The second one said, "I'm in the doghouse," and the third one said, "SOS, I'm about to get divorced." And
Oh
it
my
was
God,
like
too funny.
mini, medium, and
Yep.
large, so somebody could go in and just go, "I've really stuffed up here. Please just give me the SOS, I'm about to get divorced package."
So
And they walk
clever.
out with this huge bunch of
So
flowers. And
clever.
it's, yeah, so easy. So maybe we need to get a bit more savvier in naming our packages as
Yeah,
well.
it could be something like, I need a pick me up, or, you
Yes.
know,
Wedding package.
I'd be
Yeah.
thinking more, and who is your target market, I guess, as well, because, for me, I'm probably a lot of people's target market. I'm 39. I have young kids. I never get time for myself. I travel. I'm probably, I don't care spending the money. I don't have, heaps of excess cash lying around to just splash out
Yeah.
every week, but I definitely am fine with dropping $300 or $400 at a beauty therapist every few months. Like, I'm fine with that. So, you know, I could be, a lot of people's target market, and things that would work with me are, make it funny. So getting away from my children for 2 hours,
Yeah. The mum needs a rest package.
yes, mum needs a rest, but, I don't know, or, I'm not sure. I have to put some thought into it, but be quirky and be clever. Like, that's really clever. In the doghouse. I love that. Getting a divorce. Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah.
And so talk to me about then Salon Pay. How did you enter into that? And then can we have a chat about kind of the metrics? Because I get asked a lot of questions. When does the pay come in? What is the percentages? All of that
Sure.
kind of stuff.
Yep.
So we can, educate our audience.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess thinking back to the Secret Salon Society days, how that worked back then, it was around the $1,500 mark for salons to join, because there was a lot of admin, and it was quite labour intensive getting everybody up and running. It would also take between 2 to 4 weeks to get a salon up and running. And what we were finding was that was the main roadblock for salons joining up, which is completely fair enough. The other roadblock for us as a business was we weren't able to, I guess, grow as quickly as we wanted, because it was so labour intensive, that initial startup phase. We were using all sorts of different programs and products to put it together. So because obviously there's the payment processor, then we did some graphic design, then we created like a web, like landing page. The legal contracts all had to be customised. So it was quite an array of different programs and products that we would use. So what I thought I wanted to do, or what I wanted to do, was to take all the bits that we loved from each program that we were using and product that we were using out there, and put them into something that was ours, and make it easier for salons to get started. So now it takes 20 minutes to get a salon up and running, for example.
Wow.
And they have full control. So back in the day, every little change of every package used to have to be run by us. We would have to go in and change it. We would have to get approval on, costings and all that stuff, whereas now you can do it all yourself. So it's more of a self-service portal, I guess, if you want to call it. Yeah, so we took all the bits and made that ours. We were also, because of that reason, we were partnering with, obviously we partnered with Afterpay for that came later, but when we were just in our space, we're partnering with financial institutions and navigating, ASFL licenses and all those sorts of things. And we wanted the brand to be a bit more consumer friendly, I guess, and also a bit more like serious sounding. I guess Secret Salon Society is a really great name, but when you're talking to banks, they kind of don't get that same level of credibility, I guess, than what you do with a name like Salon Pay. It sounds like it's explaining what it does. It's in the salon industry, and it's payments, money. So that's why we branched that brand out. And what we did was we, I guess, made that brand look amazing and sound amazing, and put a lot of time and effort and energy into the brand and the branding. My one of my views on things is, with your brand, always make it look and seem bigger than it is. I don't believe we would have had Afterpay call us in the office on that Friday afternoon when that all happened if we didn't have a brand that looked bigger than what it was, because we were just still in launch phase.
Wow.
Yeah, so, you know, that was a big career highlight for us. But it was, you know, how it works in terms of what it actually does. So Afterpay is one component. That's our plugin, I guess you would call it, that powers the buy now, pay later. We have, obviously, there's the memberships. You can also just set up recurring payments. So memberships are a bit different than a recurring payment. Memberships are when the client signs a contract and they're committed to coming for 12 months, say, for example. Whereas a recurring payment could just be for a series of treatments. So it could be that, you know, someone comes in and they have terrible acne, and you know that in 3 months of XYZ treatments you can get them to that goal. So it's more like having a plan for a result. And with hair, we might use color correction as an example. So someone's dark and they want to go light, you would put them on a plan. So that can be completely customized, and you know, you would just set that up, you know, weekly, fortnightly or monthly, and it's going to just be whatever amount you like. Whereas your memberships are more based around the package. So you can set all that up. With the memberships, there's an automated calculator. So for example, if somebody says, yes, I want to choose that package, and that package is going to allow me to come in every month and I get to have a $100 facial, just for easy maths. How that would look is, you would, within your Salon Pay dashboard, is you would put in $100 and then 4 weekly visits. So it'll automatically calculate it's going to be $25 a week. Now that's obviously easy maths, but sometimes you might be calculating a 6 weekly visit and it could be $383. And believe it or not, it can be tricky to do the maths, not just for weekly and fortnightly, but the monthly bit's usually what gets people, because it's, you know,
Right.
have to times by and then divide or whatever.
Yeah.
So that works that all out for you, and whatever information that you put in that package automatically puts itself onto that landing page. So as you build out your packages and tick them to be active, and you can upload a little image, put a little description in, that automatically pre-populates and goes onto your own personal web page. So your clients can purchase directly from that page. It's your page. It's branded to you. It doesn't click through to any other salons. You can take that URL and then pop it behind your website, like a button on your website or your Facebook page or your Instagram, so that clients can buy directly from you. We do have a shop on there now too. So aside from your packages, we do also have a shop, and that's where you can pop products in. Or you might have just your once-off packages, for example. It could be where you wouldn't put your auto shipping there. You would still have that over in your packages, because that's like your recurring, 3, 6 or 12-month commitment. But with your with the shop, what we suggest doing is putting your top 10 to 15 favorite products on there. Don't put too much on, because then the default answer is no. But pop your top 10 to 15 products there, or bundle some products together, especially coming into Christmas. You might say, buy 2, get 1 free, and it's a cleanser and a moisturizer, and you get an exfoliator for free or something. I don't know. You're going to work out that bit. But you can have all that on the shop, and that's more of like a traditional website, like shopping site. So there'll be a choice to have delivery or click and collect, and that's all included with Salon Pay. So you essentially get your packages, you get the whole payment system, you get Afterpay, you also get a web shop now as well, because we're finding that salon owners are busy and also not super tech savvy, although I do feel like beauty therapists are a bit more tech savvy than hairdressers, just quietly. It's okay, this is just a public podcast space. It's true though. And I know that because I am one. I am a hairdresser, so I'm allowed to say that. But Yeah, so you get all of that. There's the Salon Pay rewards now as well. So that is only available on membership. So if your clients join to become a member of your salon, they can get access to discounts at over 3,500 different retailers. So an example would be, if you do your weekly shopping at Woolworths, you're now going to get 5% off your groceries. If you go to Mimco on the weekend, you'll get a discount off at Mimco. So on average, someone will save a couple of grand a year by using the rewards app properly, which usually is what they're spending on their membership. So it's a good sales tool. How it works is there's a couple of different options in terms of payments. So at the moment, the default is a Monday payout. And the reason why, now we don't hold your money, and there's so many funny, hilarious theories. Like, we've had people say,
I can imagine.
oh, you just invest our money and wait for it. I'm like, no one's investing your money. We do not touch anybody's money. Like, it's when we're investigating licenses and all these legal requirements, we do not touch anybody's money. That money stays in a special holding account just for you. We would not be able to access that if we tried. That is, we have weekly payouts automated. So what that means, and I don't know if you've ever put much thought into this, tomorrow, but if you get yourself into the habit and off that hamster wheel of being, I guess, paying bills every day, which I know a lot of salon owners do, as your money comes in your pay bill, as it comes in your pay bill, and every day you're flitting money off here, there and everywhere, and you're on this hamster wheel of never having anything in the bank and always having bills that you owe. If you get yourself into a habit of having a weekly payout or a day, that one day a week where you sit down and do everything, you're going to budget better, you're going to plan better, and you're going to have your life back. So weekly payouts I'm a big fan of. That's how we run our business here at Salon Pay as well. And that's standard option. On our premium subscription, so we have a next level up subscription, which is for those that are really running memberships and need us to help with default management and all that kind of thing. That there is the option to have a daily payout if you want to. Again, I think the weekly payout's really good because it's like a payday. You think of your staff, all your staff have a payday. This is your salon's payday. So this is the day that you sit down and you do your bills and then it's done. We even go that step further as to, say to salon owners, set up an accounts email. So it could be accounts@beautyindustry.com. Now, that's potentially just you. You might not have an accounts person, but for everyone that you're paying a bill to, they don't know that. So if you get in the habit of having a weekly payout and then get in the habit of, if somebody rings you on a Thursday and says, oh, can you pay the bill today? You just say, look, send it through to accounts@beautyindustry.com, and the budgeting and all the bill payments, that happens on a Monday.
Amazing.
And then you just push it aside and you get on with your job of running your salon and worry about it one day a week. So it's very empowering and it's very, very, I don't know, you save money. You don't spend as much. You don't spend as much on kind of rubbish when you're, you have getting FOMO at the shops and whatever. So that is one option. The rates are different depending on what country you're in. And so at the moment, and again, I'm not in the operations, it's 2.2% plus GST, I believe, for Salon Pay payments. You can use it like an FPOS machine as well. It's a live payment, so it takes the money straight away. So if I guess our target market are smaller operators that potentially are just themselves and maybe a couple of staff, we do have lots of bigger guys as well, that's fine as well. But how that works is you would just use Salon Pay to process the card payment, so credit or debit. And if it saves the card details for the next time, so it's all encrypted and disappears and you don't get to see that, your staff don't get to see the number. So if your client does want to go on an auto shipping or does ring up and want a product, you have their card on file. So you can, say, would you like me to charge the card on file? Yes, that's great. you charge the card on file and you can ship it out. So there's no need for Messenger. You know, a lot of people give credit card information out over Messenger when they're making an appointment, or they'll email credit card details and all those
scary, isn't it?
Risky things. I know. There's no need for any of that with Salon Pay. What else can I tell you? There's no other fees. The clients, if they miss payments multiple occasions, can be charged $2.90. How it works with the missed payments with memberships is the system automatically tries 3 times over 5 days, and the client will be sent an email if they've missed. And then at that third stage, if it's not picked up, then my team manage that. So my team will call the clients and email the clients on your behalf. And that service we perform just for our premium subscribers and only with salon owners' permission. So we wouldn't ever contact anyone or call anyone without that permission. But basically every week you'll get a report on that premium subscription saying, these are the clients that are outstanding. This is what we have managed to recover for you today, and this is what we didn't manage to recover for you. And to reassure the salons that we have, we've emailed them and we've phoned them. So then it's up to you what you want to do there. We'll keep doing that every week. We'll keep trying. I can, it's smaller amounts. We're not talking.
Yeah.
And so long as you're not servicing your client while they're in arrears, there's no risk to you as a business. So we don't ever suggest selling say, for example, if you were to sell a big package for, XYZ treatments, you would be, if you serviced them before they'd made that payment, or they'd made those payments towards having that done, then you are at risk of losing the money. But if you let them, save up for it and then have it done, or if it's like a weekly payment and a monthly visit, then it will sort of catch itself up. But yeah, there's that process. The cancellation policy is your cancellation policy as well. So we don't kind of make you enforce anything or anything like that. I have heard of a company, I can't even remember the name of it, to be honest, who, if your clients default, they will refer them to a credit reporting agency.
A debt collector? Yeah,
credit reporting agency.
Wow.
So even if it's a $50 payment, your client could end up with a black mark against their name.
Bad credit history. Oh, that's awful.
I am not into that.
No,
not at all. Not at all. And you know what? In the 2 years we've been running Salon Pay and managing, 1,500 salons, I don't think there's ever been an occasion where we've felt that's necessary for the amount of money. Like, we've never had someone owe $2,000 to a salon and they're out of pocket, and yes, that client deserves that. There might be $50 here and there, but it's, it's something that I wouldn't suggest doing. You never want that big black mark.
No.
Associated with your salon.
And get cars.
Oh, imagine the negative reviews. Like, it would be a nightmare. No.
Not worth it. No.
That's it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That's amazing. I am wondering. Perfectly, yes. And I'll put a link in our show notes as well if anyone wants some more information or a product pack or whatever you guys have as well, so that they can have a look at all that in the finer details when they're not driving around listening to us.
Yes.
But I'm wondering, you are, that is such a groundbreaking, what's the word? Groundbreaking. Goodness me, Monday morning, I need another coffee. Doing things like this for our industry, and you're inspiring so many others out there. Do you have a mentor or somebody you look to for business inspiration yourself?
It's funny that you say that, because I feel at this stage there's a few people that I look at and get inspiration from, and they're kind of they're from outside the industry. I think that is probably an area that I have really struggled with over the last couple of years, because I've gone from being a salon owner, and we have this triangle which we talk about in our office, and if you can imagine a triangle with the point at the top, and then on the inside of the triangle you have you, And then directly either side of you, you have people the same as you. So that might be other salon owners. It could be, anybody that's at that same level. For your staff, it would be other staff members. Then at the bottom, we have what we call petrol pourers and cheerleaders. And that could be anyone. And sometimes it can be the same person, can be both. And we can all be these people. And a petrol pourer is someone who, say if you've had a bad day and you come home to your partner and you're like, oh my God, my staff member did this and that. And, they would be like, fire them all. Seriously, they're not worth it. Just, they pour the petrol on and they want to sit back and toast themselves, toast the marshmallows by that fire as your life is exploding. Then you've got your cheerleaders that you might come home and have that bad day and they'll go, oh, you're trying so hard, you're being amazing, like keep going, you can do it. They'll be your cheerleaders, and that could be your best friend or your mum or whoever it might be. But really, when you have decisions that you need to make with your business, you need to go up, and going up means not talking to other salon owners that are doing exactly what you're doing. It means going up. It means someone like yourself, Tamara, or somebody who has got more experience than you, has been doing it for longer than you, has failed more than you, all those sorts of things. They're the people that you need to go to, and they're the ones that would say to you, well, when did you do your last one-on-one with your staff? Or what's going on with you that you're having a bad day? They will put that responsibility back on you and help make you better. And I've struggled because I feel like I'm in the fintech industry now, and there's not many women who are in the fintech industry who I know, I guess. And it is a very, it's been
masculine.
It's been completely, what is the word to use? I've never ever felt such misogyny and sexism ever in my entire life. I never really understood it, to be honest, because in a female dominated industry, we just don't really feel it. We know we do whatever we want. Everything's wonderful and unicorns and rainbows. But when you are in a fintech industry and you've got men, even just last week, we had a man tell my operations manager, look, I know you get a bit emotional. We were not being emotional. We were being direct and having a conversation. Like imagine that person saying that to another man.
Oh, wouldn't happen.
It would not happen. But we get that constantly.
Calm down. Don't get upset.
No, we're not. We're actually just telling you we're not happy with something. It's been really hard. So I'm probably on the lookout for a bit of a mentor, to be honest. But I have to say my operations manager, Sally Turpin, has been definitely an amazing support for me, because she comes from a financial services background and she has worked and run customer service teams for big, multinational like insurance companies and Adidas and all sorts of places. And she has a different spin on things, and we're completely chalk and cheese. So often if I need help in an area, I'm lucky enough that she sits right next to me in the office. I can just say, hey, Sally, come into the office for a sec, come into the meeting room for a second. We'll just hash out something. And so I do feel very lucky in that respect. But it's, someone like Naomi Simpson would be, someone who I'd love to have as a mentor. I just enjoy kind of doing what I do and playing with the people I play with. And, I'm lucky that I don't have a lot of drama these days, which is really good. So
that's the best.
Yes.
Amazing.
Only my children.
Final question. That's a whole nother level.
Oh my gosh, that's a whole nother podcast.
And last question I want to finish off with you. This is a bit of a big question to finish off, but what do you think the secret sauce is to being successful in the service, hair and beauty industry?
I always, so there's two things. I always go back to, what are you trying to achieve? Like I see time and time again people asking questions in my group about marketing or social media or this, that, or whatever. And I always just think, what are you trying to achieve? Most of the time, people make decisions based on something their ego wants or FOMO. And it's not actually going to get them to their goals. So the first thing would be, my motto is to start with the end in mind with everything. So, never ever do something half-heartedly if that's not what you really want. So, an example would be with my salon. When I very first opened my salon, I wanted it to be the most beautiful, most affluent salon in the area. And so would that have worked if I had done a half-hearted job on the branding or the interior? No. So I had to get that right. Would that have worked if I started running a whole heap of promotions and did a whole heap of discounting to get people through the door? No, because I'd be attracting the wrong target market. So always thinking about what is starting with the end in mind and what are you trying to achieve, and getting really clear on that before you do anything, because otherwise what you find is people just open up a salon because they don't want to work for someone else. That's how things work, and they only know what they know from what they've done before, and you'll end up in the same place you've always been if you don't change anything. And if you don't know where you want to go, how do you know when you get there? So that's probably my secret sauce, and that's what I'm really good at. I'm really good at being very clear and knowing exactly how I want something to look, and then it's just a case of breaking that down and delegating it out and making it happen, or doing it yourself if you're not a delegator. I'm a pretty good delegator. So that would be probably my main advice and secret sauce.
Amazing. Kristy, thank you so much for spending the morning with me having a chat on our podcast. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I really appreciate your time today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I love everything that you're doing for the industry. I love the one thing that you do, Tamara, that makes me just like, it's a bit fangirly, I think, is your consistency and your execution is just flawless. So well done to you for everything you do. It is branded beautifully. It's all in alignment, and you're very consistent. So there's lots of things you do that lots of us, including myself, can learn from. And it's a real credit to you, that real consistency. And gosh, you've got a tea company as well.
I do have a small tea company.
Yes. Like, it's just amazing. I love that. So thank you so much for having me, and
What a woman. The conversation with Kristy reminded me of the limits that we put on ourselves and how much we really need to keep planning and pushing our boundaries to propel us forward. Kristy and I continued the conversation offline, where she shared some really exciting things for the future of Salon Pay, and I can't wait until they're made public for you all, because they are pretty damn amazing and they're about to revolutionize the beauty and the service industry. I thought of some sassy package names for you all as well once we got offline, so you can use them in your space or on your treatment menu if you like. We already talked about the Mum Needs a Rest package, which could include an hour massage and an hour facial. We've also got the Make Me Feel Like I'm Human Again package, which could include a body treatment, facial, or a nail treatment. We also have the Make Me Look Like I'm Fabulous package, which could include your brows, lashes, and makeup, or the ever popular Make Me Look Like I'm 25 years younger package, which could include some skin needling, LED, and of course your products. If you already have some fun packages that you sell like hotcakes, or if you'd love to see some other package ideas, pop them into our Facebook group thread so that we can see them and continue the conversation over there. If you have loved hearing from Kristy and I, let us know by sharing this episode across your social media pages, which lots of you have been doing recently. Thank you so much. As you are all aware, it's just me in the office, and all of your support helps immensely. You can find more about Salon Pay by clicking through to the show notes on this episode, and of course seeing all of their social media platforms at Salon Pay. As for us, you can stay up to date on our podcast episodes by hitting that subscribe button in iTunes, or follow under Android and Spotify. and across all of the social media platforms at Beauté Industry and at Tamara Shaw Reid. Until next time, stay connected.